As you can see of this recording, there's about 1,500 people playing Due Process. They have a sale for about 94% off, where the game is actually 89 cents if you want to play it. The reason why I want to talk about Due Process was because I bought this game, I think it was November 3rd, 2020 was when it was actually released. The developers have been doing updates for it ever since then. So 5, if not 4 years later, they're still actively updating it, with the most recent being the Future Man update, where they added about 100 plus new maps and other things for the map, like the tools, being able to see like what to do in terms of the tactics map, and then being able to change all the different tile sets when you play the actual game. If you don't know what Due Process is, think of it like a voxel version of Rainbow Six Siege, except you have a map that you can go and tactically draw and put your characters at where you want to go, whether you go into an event, go through a small door, a little crack, whichever, and the entire objective is for you, the attackers, to defuse the bomb. The defenders are trying to stop you from doing so. And the defenders will have their own different types of weapons and skill sets, as well as the attackers having their own skill sets and weapons as well. They have their different types of tile sets, maps, and whatever different areas you can go to. As the defenders, you can place down barb traps or use Molotov cocktails and glow sticks if you decide to shut off the power. As for the attackers, you can use night vision goggles, breaches, that guy is teabagging because he's happy he can play this game, and being able to deal with whatever you have to deal with and defuse the bomb. When it comes down to my issues with this game, however, and I've always had issues in the past, one, the loading times. They're pretty significant, and they happen quite a bit every single time you have a match. Also, you have a 50-second startup time before the actual game happens, and then another like maybe a couple seconds afterwards. So it feels like there's a lot more loading than there is actual gameplay. Will that change? I do not know. Ever since they added the Future Man update, I mean, I have more hope than I ever did when I first bought the game a long time ago. And now that there are players actively playing it, giving feedback, talking about their experiences and so on, maybe the possibility of them fixing this game is going to be a lot closer than you think. Now, when I say fixing, I don't mean necessarily that the game is broken, but so much that there's a lot of things going on with it. I didn't even know that the game was still actively being developed until I seen in my notifications for Steam that they were going to be putting out the big update for Future Man, 100 plus maps and so on, adding tooltips to the map so it's a lot more easier and fleshed out to be able to see what's kind of going on in the tactics map. And then when it comes down to the actual execution, where they have different like areas that you could hide, like the freezer, the bathroom, or whichever, it honestly shocked me when I seen that. Because most of the time when you see a lot of early access games, like I talked about Cygnus Enterprise, Origami 1 and 2, I think Shiny Shoe when it came down to Inkbound, a lot of these developers just assume, well, if a game comes out and doesn't do well in the sales, microtransactions, or whatever, what is the point of continuing on? So with these guys adding a bunch of these updates for like 4+ years, if not longer, and then still continuously making adjustments and changes to their game, only to then see 1,500 people playing it now. That is insane, and I wish I could have seen that when the game first came out in November 3rd, 2020, but it didn't because, one, they didn't have a whole lot of advertisement for it, not many people were talking about the game, and they had a lot of issues with the loading times being way longer than they are, and some other stuff with weapons despawning. Or sometimes if you look at the actual weapon bench, it didn't pop up with some of the guns when you first start off the round, whether it be brand new or not. Like I said, when it came down to actually in-game, you get your weapons, but once you die with them, you can't get them back anymore. You're going to have to only use whatever weapons you currently still have on the weapons bench. If they're all gone, well then I guess you're kind of screwed there. But I highly doubt I've ever seen all the weapons gone that no one can ever use, because at least you'll have a pistol, SMG, shotgun, sniper rifle, and even better, the shield that pretty much doesn't lose any quality or durability when you're using it. And this is just the attacker side. The defender side has other different weapons as well, like an Uzi with 40 rounds. They have an AK. They have basically an SKS, a breaching shotgun, and they even have the light machine gun that you can mount and shoot through the walls, or even at people that are trying to come through the doorways. It's different when it comes down to the defenders, because the defenders are like terrorists, I guess. The other game that kind of reminds me of this is Counter-Strike, you have counter-terrorists and terrorists. You're trying to plant a bomb, so they're trying to come defuse it. It's similar to that, but a little bit more voxely and more destructibility. I can't really say that everything is destructible like it would be for Rainbow Six Siege if I were to put like Claymore on a wall, detonate it, and shoot through a hole. It's got some other type of weird things going on, like you kick in a door or you're just going off to specific like areas that you could enter into that you can blow up, rather than just like find a random wall, put a breach charge on it, and then blow it up from there. One thing I forgot to mention when it comes down to due process is that they do actually have against bots mode. You also have a training mode that you can just go check all the different guns, and you have different maps for all the different bots that you play against. The bots have 3 different modes. You have easy, medium, and hard. Medium is pretty difficult. Hard is just like insane because they can just spray you instantly and you're gone. Plus it's just you versus like 5 terrorists, so you're trying to figure out how the map kind of works rather than just going off and having your own bots join you. I don't know if that's a custom button layout or like something I could add later in game, but every time I play tutorial, it's me versus them, and they always smoke me, compared to online PvP, to where I have a chance, throw a flash bomb or just shoot through a wall and destroy them, and then go off and defuse bomb or plant it, either way. Before the video ends, I want to give my 2 cents about due process. If you're looking to get into it, it's 89 cents right now. Full asking price is $14.99, and it is an online only PvP game. Thus, you do have the bots if you want to try training and get used to the maps, as well as the different difficulty modes for it, and then of course training to check all the different weapons. That being said, I think it's a pretty good time to get back into something like this with 1,500 players playing the game right now, and I don't know how long it will last for. I don't even know how long people are going to be interested in the game before it gets boring. So highly recommend getting into that right now and trying out the new stuff. That being said, I've been One Nut Punch, and this has been the due process video I wanted to talk about. I'm going to be talking about SCP-5K.16 coming this Wednesday, March 5th, and that will be the big stuff for this week. Otherwise than that, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.